Hey everybody, Dave Clark, aka the Pattern Guy. We're in the pattern shop again, and we're finishing up the one purchase order we had with the 3 new patterns and the repair job. I was going to do the repair first, just kind of, I'm the kind of guy where out of sight, out of mind. This thing got put on the floor over in the corner, and I didn't forget about it, but just I wanted to get you guys into the new pattern, showing you how to build them. So we're on to the repair job. Actually, wasn't so much a repair job. They lost the core boxes. There's 3 core boxes to this job. There's actually 2 different patterns on this match plate. Okay, lift it up here real quick. All right, so these 3 are one, these 3 are the other. I really suggest not to put different patterns on the same match plate, because what happens, all right, say you get an order for 100 of each of these, okay? So then say you scrap out 4% of these, whatever, okay, 4 or 5 or 6 patterns, you scrap them out. I need to make 4 or 5 more of these, right? So that would be 2 molds I gotta make. So I'm gonna have 2 molds with these castings on there also that you're not gonna need, So it's not a good idea to do that. So what I do is I always suggest, keeping the patterns separate. That way, if you do scrap 1 or 2 of the castings out, you don't have to make a bunch of the other ones. To me, it's common sense usually, and it baffles me to this day how people still do this. I don't understand. The other thing on this, and like I said, I am a fat head when it comes to pattern making, and don't go too much into this. The other thing, it kind of bad. I'm not saying I do everything perfect. I do not, okay? But the thing is, there's some stuff that's so blatantly wrong with the way people do things. It's not even funny, So anyhow, like I said, I'm just supposed to make core boxes to this. So I'm the kind of person, I'm like my buddy Blaine, right? So I was looking this pattern over, and there's a lot of stuff wrong with these patterns. It's an old job, and they get beat up. I can't leave that stuff alone. The customer I'm doing this for is a good customer. Guy gets me a lot of work in that, so I just always feel obligated to go ahead and do some repair. This one, it's got a lot of repair. So the biggest thing I can see on this is the different, like I said, a different media we use to make things. Okay, these were made out of pine, from what I can see from the exposed parts, which smaller parts like this, I don't suggest making them out of pine. Make them out of hardwood. It's not that much money, and they're going to last so much way longer, with the hardwood. And the other thing with this too is it might have been, they use wax in a lot of the fillets and that, and there's some holes. It might have been where they've been using it and some of the plastic fillets had fallen out, which does happen, and then just quick put some wax in. But the extent of the amount of wax that's in this job, I just can't see. I can't see. When I pick you up, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you how to, what to do and what not to do with this. All right, so let me pick you up here. Okay, can't wait to get that new camera. It's going to be so much nicer. All right, so anyhow, I started going over this, and you can see this here. This is all busted right here, so I got to fix this. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to drill some holes in here, put some Bondo in there, okay? So this pad, for some reason, that's just all it's not bad. It's not good either. The nice dent here. So what you want to do with these, you want to dig the paint out of there. Okay, you can drill holes in there, and then that way the Bondo, I'm gonna put Bondo in there. This way the Bondo is gonna stick in there. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. So these are hard fillets. Okay, plastic. This one was all wax, so I don't understand where, unless, you know what he might have done. He might have used this for his here. We had this once before. Probably used this for a master. That's why it's pine. That's what he did. And I bet you these are plastic. These two are plastic. So just pour one more. You know, look at this little thing. There's not $5-10 worth of plastic in this thing. Right? So then that's what he did. I bet you what he did. So, but in here, this is all the gating here. All right. And it just, he had all wax in here, and it just craps up. Just dig all this wax out. So then probably here, it's probably going to be the same thing. He had wax in this one, so this one's probably his master, and that's what happened there, I bet you. You know, so what you got to do, you got to dig all that wax out, because you can see, well, this, maybe not either. Well, no, that's a dowel pin. So, but you know, this one, you can see it's got wax on it. You can get the wax off of there. We'll scrape all that out. Yep, see, look at that wax. Wax in there again. Okay. So, we'll scrape all this wax out, and what we're going to do is, we're going to go ahead, this is probably wax here. Yep, there's more wax. Wow. Let's see, that's a little plastic right there. So these are, yeah, this is where he screwed them in. So yeah, I bet you that's what he did. That's your master right there. And these are two plastic, and this is your master here. And that's what they did. So I'll do the same thing. I'm gonna go over this side, and we will start putting some Bondo on this. So here. Okay, so what I'm going to go do, I'm going to finish scraping all the wax off of this. I'm going to put Bondo in this, and then I'm going to let it sit for quite a while. Let that Bondo harden. You Bondo, you know, you've used it, I'm sure you guys have, and that for other projects and everything, but it's, the longer you let it sit, the better. You could probably put some Bondo on here, 5 minutes later start sanding it off. I like to let it, especially stuff like this, I'll let it harden for a few hours, a few hours. And then in between, what I'll do is I'll start working on, I'm going to give them urethane core boxes, right? So these, well, I tell you what, maybe 2 of them we might make out of wood, I'm not 100% sure. So we'll either go ahead and make some sticks, I'll show you how we're making some sticks, or we might go ahead and just do a couple wooden core boxes real quick. And then like I said, this is going to the same foundry. The foundry it's going to, the guy does stuff for me in that. He'll do some small castings here and there. He does iron, so he'll do small iron stuff for me. So what I'll do is, instead of just like, there's a couple just flat, kind of squarish, rectangular-ish looking cores to this. I could probably just do a half dump box. That's probably what I should do. But since it's going to this guy that I know real well, I'll probably just go ahead and make a, you know, 2-sided split box so he doesn't have to fart around gluing stuff together and that. So let me clean this up a little bit, get some Bondo on it, and then we'll get back and I'll show you how to do the core boxes in this. So hang tight. Okay guys, I got Bondo all done on this pattern here. I'm going to start making core sticks. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, like I said, we're going to do some split core boxes. Probably really don't need to, probably shouldn't either. But like I said, since this is going to foundry where the guy does me a lot of favors, we work with each other. I do him favors, he does me favors. So I'm going to do that for him. It's not going to be much extra work for me. And like I say, the plastic's going to be minimal. I'm literally like $1 or $2 of plastic extra, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. Probably the most expensive things, I got to put those brass dowel pins in. So that's probably going to be it there. So what I did was I got to make some core sticks. I'm going to show you how we do those. Okay. Luckily, they're smaller pieces too. That's the other reason why I don't mind doing the split, like I said here. So what I did, I just found this scrap piece of pine, and I'm laying out the size of the core boxes, and I should be able to get both halves out of this, no problem. So I'll just cut them out, split them in half, and then we'll take them over to the sander and use the new safety sander and sand them parallel, and then we'll lay out what goes. One of them, like I said, there's 3 cores on this. So there's one on the one pattern. That's this one here, and all it is that's just going to create a little slot under there. And then there's a little radius in here. Okay, this one, this round core right here produces a blind hole into here, and we can machine that in there. Well, the thing is it goes in 3/4 and then a 1/2 inch into the casting. It balloons out to 1 inch, so it's kind of like light bulb shaped inside. Okay, and then this one here, same thing with this one. It's just going to create a slot in there. Okay, so it's no big deal. So I got enough stock right here. I'm going to start with these 2 here, and then what I'm going to probably have to do is I got enough time today. I'll probably turn this one on a lathe more than likely. So maybe we'll fire up the lathe in a little bit. I'm not sure exactly. I might and I might not. I could probably sand this all out. Tell you what, since you guys don't have a lathe, we'll make a project out of this and sand them and put them together. Okay, we'll do it that way. All right, so let me get going on this, and I'll turn you on here and there, see where we're at progress wise. All right, using the sander bandsaw, I showed you that a lot already. So let me get started on it, and we'll get going. Hey guys, next day here. We're pressing on with this repair job, plus got to make a couple core boxes. Okay, so we got a good start on the core boxes yesterday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we're going to finish this up. Okay, so this piece right here, you see this core print right here. All right, so we're going to work on that one. And like I said, traditionally what I would do is I just go over, put it in the lathe and go, but trying to keep on remembering everybody doesn't have a lathe, so I'll show you an alternative way to do it. Okay, so basically, let's do a little chalk talk here. Okay, we haven't had the chalk talks. We got to get a chalk talk out one of these days. So anyhow, we're just going to do a looking down view. Okay, there's that, and then there's those little hubs here. All right, so it's all the way at the one end, and if you can see, he's got a core print that comes out that's on an angle. Okay, and I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit. All right, so the reason he's got this core print on an angle is that's what's called a key. Okay, he's going to key this core in there. All right, so let's go over here. If I were to make this straight, okay, and then what it is this core looks like this. Okay, so if I were just to make this straight, this is all going to be open in the mold. It's going to be a big hole. Okay, then we're going to have a chunk of sand sitting in there to make a hole. Okay, keep on thinking back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Okay, so we're going to have this chunk of sand in there. Well, he's got to make sure, if I were just to make these sides straight, if he sets this core in here and doesn't get it all the way to the back side here, this core is going to be protruding into the casting more than it needs to be. Okay, so by putting this key on here, this angle, this is going to stop this core from going into the casting. Okay, so that's why he's got an angle. And then this is going to look, you know, like I said, it's kind of bulbous shaped core. Alright, so what I did here, like I said, what I normally do is I'll do this on the lathe, but I'm going to show you guys an alternative way to do it. Okay, so what we're going to do is I got my pieces of stock out and I just put a little dab of glue and we spot glued these together, okay, because we're going to need the cope half, drag half, okay. So what I did, I measured the core print, and I'm going to reiterate this again, I'm going to do it again. Alright, so this is an aluminum casting, so you know, you think aluminum is 3/16 to an inch shrink roll, okay? But here's the thing, this core print is where it's at already. So I could measure it with a standard scale ruler, okay? And you know, use that measurement, go ahead, or I could just use my go ahead and use my shrink roll, either or. So you can use a standard ruler also, but here's where it gets confusing, okay? And this is where, like I said, this trade is just, it's all over there, okay? So this is already made, period, okay? So you want to get the exact dimension from here, and actually you want to make it just a touch smaller, okay? Like this, I think it's an inch and a half, you know, hair under a 32nd smaller, because you want it to be able to fit into the hole and make sure we get a little clearance here, okay? This is made on the pattern. We measured the core print for what it is. However, the inside, guess what? We got to do shrink. I can't measure what, there's nothing to the inside of this, okay? So that's got to be done with a 3/16 shrink. So normally what I do, I just get my shrink ruler out, you know, I'll measure the core print, just do it that way. Okay, that way you don't get confused. Like I said, what I always try to do is, once, if I'm working off a casting, I gotta have my standard ruler out, I'll measure the casting, okay, and then go back to the shrink ruler. Once I'm done measuring and laying out, I put the standard rule away and just have my shrink rule out. That way you're not picking up the other one, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, what I did was, I think this was like 1.25 inches here. So I got two pieces, 1.25 inches high. Alright, and I got my diameter on here. I'm gonna minus the draft on there. And then this next piece here, I think this is I think 1.25 inches here. This one's a 1/2 inch here, and I think this one's like 3/4 or something like that, somewhere around there. So I got all the pieces out, okay? I just got two pieces a 1/2 inch, spot glued them together. This is a radius, so I'm just gonna strike a circle on here like this, all right? And then circle around. I'm gonna put my center lines all the way around on this again, so that when I stack them up, I can get them on center, okay? So I do that. Now, a little bit tricky on the end of this one. All right, so this is all spherical, okay? So I got my draft on all the sides. So I need to put draft on both ends, all right? So this particular piece, what we'll do is we're gonna cut it out. I'm gonna add the draft on this. This one is gonna be a little more difficult to do it. So I already put my draft on here. All right, then we'll get my centers and spin the radius on here, okay? So that's all I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna put the radius on here, sand these out, glue them together, and that's gonna be your core stick, and then we'll pour plastic off of this, okay? Now, like I said, normally this isn't a good way to do this if it was going to be like a pattern and it was going to be the final piece of equipment. But like I said, it's a core stick. We're going to use it once to make a mold, and that's it. So it's not a big, you know, the strength, it doesn't have to be an issue with your building construction on it. Okay, so I'm going to do those. And then the other pieces I did here too was I went ahead and I made these two core sticks here. We're making them, okay? This is two different ones, all right? So, like I said, this one just has a radius in here. This one just comes in straight, and it's just gonna produce a little slot hole under there. All right, so I think this was, I can't remember the dimensions exactly. I think this one's a 5/8 hole in there, so it's got to be 5/16 thick. So I've got, you know, a couple pieces of 5/16 inch stock out, and this one I think is 32nd under that, so it's a little thinner. All right, so I got 2 pieces of each out. Okay, and my 2 pieces of stock each, and then what I did, I laid these out on 1/2. Okay, I sanded them out. All right, and then what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to put these on top. You can put a spot glue on there if you want to let it sit for a little bit, trace it out, or like I said, I've been doing this long enough, and these things are like clamps anyhow, so I'm just going to take my marking knife, trace around this half. All right, and then the same thing with this one. I'm going to do the same thing, mark around it. I'm going to cut those out, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this half of the 2. We'll take a half of that pin core here. All right, we'll take a half of that. We're going to mount them on a piece of plywood, paint them up, make sure they're nice and painted up there. Then we'll make some frames surround them, and then we're going to pour some core boxes. All right, so let me get to that point. You guys have seen me saying things out and that. We'll get to the point where I'm going to do the core boxes, pour them. I'll show you how I make the frames for them and how I'm going to pour them, and then we'll get back with you. Okay, hang tight, guys. Hey again, guys. It's hopefully the wrap up of these core boxes here. Finally got all the sticks done. Started making the frames for them. I made them out of mahogany because, like I said, this one's got to be a little bit more rugged than that. Okay, so like I said too, with these, they're just basically little scrap pieces. You know, it wasn't, you didn't have to get a big board out and cut them up, all right? So that's why I say I always keep a little bit of the scrap. Yeah, you get to the point where it gets overwhelming, okay? So I made these frames. Here's what I'm going to do. They're going to be what's called open-end dump boxes, and I'll show you when we're done. Explain them a little bit more. So the open end's going to be down here. So I got a piece of wood here. It's all greased up, and these are going to set in here like that. We're going to pour this side. I've got these 2 also here. We're going to pour these, let them set for an hour or so, and then what we're going to do is I just spot glued the sticks onto that piece of plywood a bit, but I'll knock that piece of plywood off. We'll get the other half, spot glue them on, grease everything up, and pour the other halves. Okay, and then from there, what we'll do, we're going to have to pin them. I'm going to use those little small brass dowel pins that we used in that other core box. And then I'm going to put a little piece of plywood on these things, and this job will be done. I'll show you, I've got all the repair work done on the pattern. It's done on the floor. I'll grab that in a bit and show you guys. But basically what I'm going to do next, I'm going to clamp these. Okay, and then I'm just going to dump some plastic in here. So that's where we're going next, all right? Hang tight there, guys. Okay, guys, got the first half poured, all right, on all 3 of these things. One of the things I forgot to remind you guys, we always do, when we make these frames, we put some indents in with a drill. You know, if you don't have drills, you chisel some gouges out, whatever. We just got to scuff these up a little bit more than with sandpaper when you pour the plastic in. That way it gives the plastic something to adhere to. It does, the blue plastic, it will adhere a little bit, but it's just not there, okay? And then too, what I always do on the parting surface, I always paint those with clear first. All right, so I'm going to put these together here like this. I got a piece on the front, the dam, whatever if you want, and then I'm going to pour these. And then these, before I break them apart, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and drill them with a 1/4 inch drill. That's the drill you use for the small dowel pins. We'll dowel them together, glue some plywood on these things, and we're done with this project. All right, so let me do that, and I'll show you all everything when we're done. Okay, hang tight. Okay, guys, today we wrapped up the core boxes, okay, this repair job and the extra core box, okay, pinned them with the dowel pins, okay, gave them a coat of clear, So I've got the 3. These are going to be split boxes. They're called split boxes. Okay. So that's it right there. So those are done. Here's that one little thing I made, that little extra thing. When I was pouring these, I had some extra plastic. So next time I have a gaining job and he needs one of these bowls, this is a sprue bowl, okay? I don't have to make it, it's made already. Alright, so and that's like I said, if you have a customer that you have repetitive pieces, you can go ahead and make a mold like this, and you know, you got your pieces. And then that's plastic too, so it'll last a lot better. Okay, here's the pattern that I got done too. I used to go ahead and paint everything red and black and that, but I just am running out of time on this job. Way out of time with this job, way out of money too. So that's it as it is. So anyhow, that's that job. Got lots of foundry work to do. Couple other things on the burners too, so we'll get with them in that. So with that, we'll cut you guys loose. If you guys have subscribed, I really appreciate it. I need some more subscribers, guys. I got to get subscribers. Keep them coming for me, and we'll keep this thing going, okay? I just want to teach you guys as much stuff as we can here. So with that, we're going to let you guys go, and everybody have a good one out there, and most importantly, stay safe.
You got a little slip?